Contradiction is perhaps one of the most useful tools to utilise when assessing a position. If a contradiction that is inherent to the assertions of said position is located, said position falls. When it comes to theism, perhaps the most well-known example of this is the problem of evil, which pits the defined qualities of the Christian God against one another, with at least one quality needing to give way for the others to stand. But what happens when you're up against a non-position, such as atheism? If a position makes no assertions beyond the lack of reason to believe in a God, what's there to contradict outside of supplying evidence for God? And yet, as confusing as this may be, is a popular topic for apologists, the so-called contradiction of atheism, which gives us our video today.
Hello, I'm Lucy.
And I'm Callum.
In one of his best-known comments, Richard Dawkins says this:
"The universe that we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, no evil and no good, nothing but pitiless indifference."
We've been talking about whether there can be real good and evil if we're just atoms and molecules. Dawkins is one of many atheists who say that there can't.
Well, first of all, your video is titled, "Is there a contradiction at the heart of atheism?" and not, "Has Richard Dawkins ever contradicted himself?" Richard Dawkins is not a prophet. His views do not reflect on atheism, save for the lack of belief in God. So even giving you your understanding of what he said, that wouldn't relate to the title at all. But that's not the only problem. Where did he say good and evil cannot exist? This quote comes from his 1995 book titled River Out of Eden and states the following: "In a universe of blind physical forces and genetic replication, some people are going to get hurt, other people are going to get lucky, and you won't find any rhyme or reason in it, nor any justice. The universe we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, no evil, no good, nothing but blind, pitiless indifference. DNA neither knows nor cares, DNA just is. And we dance to its music." So the topic being discussed when Dawkins made said statement is the natural universe, specifically in relation to genetics. He's not talking about the human experience and the developed morals, values and laws, but the natural world that science investigates. And much like science, the world it studies is amoral. A worm does not eat the eye of a child because it is evil, nor do plants sprout sustaining fruits because they are good. But that indifference throughout the universe does not then mean that we as people cannot develop our own moral framework. Indeed, all evidence is to the contrary, since that is what we observe. Countless moral frameworks holding to any number of values. So it would seem that you have mischaracterized Dawkins, at least from my understanding.
But somewhere else he says, faith is one of the world's greatest evils. This sounds like a claim that some things really are evil.
So we're entitled to ask, which is it? Is there no evil, no good, just pitiless indifference? Or are some things really evil? You can't have it both ways.
Agreed. But since you have mischaracterized what was stated in the earlier quote as relating to the human experience rather than purely to the natural world around us, the contradiction is purely the result of your straw man and nothing more. All Dawkins noted was that there was no cosmic force such as a deity or karma permeating throughout the universe, giving a sense of good or evil to natural events in our lives. A hurricane is not some god's wrath following the continued child rape in their apparent houses. A serial killer having a heart attack is not the result of some karmanic force. Indeed, the only justice we receive is the justice we make for ourselves, which makes our actions in tackling injustice all the more important because it's all we have.
People like Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris and Christopher Hitchens spend a lot of time condemning those they disagree with. But if we're just atoms and molecules, and there's no real right or wrong, what basis do they have for condemning what someone else says or does?
So we have this one universe which thus far has only been demonstrated to consist of matter and energy, and within that universe we observe moral systems being developed. So to our knowledge, morality can only exist in a universe consisting of matter and energy. Reality doesn't put an end to morality. From what we can see, is a prerequisite. Matter and energy, which you have termed atoms and molecules as if they're different, is just a buzz phrase used to soothe the doubt of the already devoted. Show me moral systems existing beyond matter and energy. As for a basis, we as a species have these things called values which can be discussed critically in a field of philosophy known as ethics. Our medical ethics and our Bill of Human Rights comes from the secular philosophy, and religion remains to this day one of the few excuses used to routinely violate both of these. Now, it's not a perfect system, but it's a system you yourself are part of, except unlike myself, who as a secular humanist values human well-being, you value the dictates of your scripture no matter what they say. You hold to a dictator model of morality. Now, that's not something to be proud of.
Some of us may say that good and evil aren't real, but none of us can live consistently like that. Every day, in countless different ways, all of us acknowledge that some things really are right and others really are wrong.
This is as true of atheists who claim that there's no right or wrong as it is of the rest of us. If you read any of their books, you soon see how uncomfortable they are with the implications of what they're saying. They want us to live as if right and wrong are real, even if this is a mistake. Could it be that deep down, they know that right and wrong are real after all?
Which atheists? I know nihilists exist, but outside of the uber nihilists, even they don't think what you are pretending is the belief of atheism, which is something that shows you don't know what the hell you're talking about right off the bat. There being no universally ascribed right or wrong, as rejected by Dawkins in the quote you used earlier, has zero impact on the existence of right or wrong as constructed by us, people, conscious beings looking at the universe. By the way, this position I am forwarding is not necessarily the position held by other atheists, so certainly don't substitute Dawkins for me. But what I am showing is that this little box you are trying to put all atheists into is an absolute sham. Now, I'll note one more thing about this constructed morality. Whilst the religious would pretend this to be a weakness, its strength comes in its ability to adapt to new knowledge and better understanding. For example, the three Abrahamic religions fully embrace chattel slavery as perfectly righteous. Therefore, the believers of these religions have no religious basis to class chattel slavery as immoral. I, as a secular humanist, meanwhile, have every right to do that, since I am not bound by an arbitrary dictate. I am bound to my value of human life. I can adapt my actions to new information. I can see the world beyond black and white, and I see that for what it is, a true feat of human ingenuity, something to be proud of, not ashamed. Hi there. I'd just like to say a few things here at the end of the video before you go. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who's ever donated to the channel via Patreon, giving a special thanks to the following people: Hannah Banghart, Matthew Kovac, John Schoenrock, Daniel Martinez, and Alexander Williams. Your support has ensured this channel its ability to grow over the years. I'd also like to ask that you comment down below and like this video, as well as subscribe, hit the bell icon, and follow Essence of Thought on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please also consider following Atheist Alliance International on Facebook, a humanist organisation dedicated to helping atheists around the globe. Lastly, I'd like to request that you treat the people responded to in this video with a reasonable degree of respect. Whilst we understand that there are justifiable limits to said respect when tackling certain heavy topics, and anger can be a very genuine emotion in fighting injustice, any comments utilising language which insults others on the basis of perceived gender, sexuality, ethnicity or ability both mental and physical will be removed immediately, and the commenter may be blocked on the moderator's discretion. Let's work to keep this space one which upholds the values of humanism. Thank you.